Greetings and salutations, Internet. Here today, some very sad news. Um, it feels kind of like the day Tupac died. Um, Local or international heartthrob, um, danger to pretty much all of humanity. Netanyahu, Benjamin, or Mileikowsky, let's call him by his original name. He was thought to have been in Germany for the past few days since Iran started its assault on Israel. Um, but he was intercepted by Hamas um, officials, and he was being tortured for the past 48 hours. Um, and it was in dispute. You know, a lot of people were questioning, is it true? I mean, we thought he was in Germany. What's going on? But Hamas has released the torture video, or I guess you could say enhanced interrogation, because we used the same tactics on 9/11 detainees. I mean, they really didn't have anything to do with 9/11, but we did waterboarding to a significant amount of people from the Middle East or West Asia. Um, and Hamas, they basically just took the same tactics and they beefed them up a little bit. They were waterboarding Benjamin Netanyahu with uh, porta potty water. It was porta potties from a music festival, so it was mostly feces. But in compliance with international law, they blended up the feces so he wouldn't choke on any solids. Then they would run the fecal sludge over his mouth, giving him the sensation of drowning. They were, um, like I said, in compliance with all of Netanyahu's laws. You know, they were much kinder to him than he was to a lot of the Palestinian uh, um, detainees. Uh, but um, it's sad to say, uh, Netanyahu had a nut allergy they didn't know about, and there was nut in some of the feces um, that they were running into his mouth, and he went into shock. And he, when they came back, he was drowning in urine fecal matter solution. He was literally rotting in piss. That's RIP. He was rotting in piss. And but you know, they were able to get a few confessions out of him before he passed. They got him to admit that the Israelis are not from that land. They're just a bunch of Caucasians from different parts of Europe. Um, he got them to admit that they're still in the history of the Dogon people who are black. He got Netanyahu to admit that his deep-seated hatred towards colored people is really just an envy. He really wishes he was one. You know, he has no flavor. He was saying without them committing all of the war crimes and terrorizing millions of people, no one in the Epstein class would ever get laid. They need economic coercion as well as the threat of death for anyone to get naked in front of him. And you can go watch the full video. It's been proven it's not AI, but you have to have a strong stomach for it, because they continue to run the feces over his mouth, and it's hard to hear some of what he's saying because he's gurgling on the solution, the porta potty solution, and you know, it's coming out of his nose, and it's graphic. Some of it, like, you tell someone threw like a period, like a tampon in there, and it's just got the blood coming. Yeah, it gets pretty gross. But like I said, they blended it, so it was a smooth solution. You could just see there was a lot of stuff in that porta potty. Um, Damn, this is a crazy timeline. Yeah, no, it's wild. Um, yeah, the news they've been reporting it all morning. You know, once they were able to confirm that that was him drowning in the porta potty water. You know, wild stuff. But you know, we're going to just the people in Palestine are mourning his loss. They were hoping that he would be brought to justice um, alive. But you know, it's just what are you going to do? He was he's literally rotting in piss. You know, I'll always miss you, Mileikowsky. Cheers. It was also um, the Iranians are moving forward with their diddler bot to target American pedophiles. So the robots, they're going to look just like helpless children, even mimic their sounds, crying, being in fear because that's what they love, that adrenochrome. But then as soon as the children are penetrated and or sacrificed by a pedophile, they will detonate. Um, and it's, you know, a lot of you guys are like, but, you know, they won't be just targeting politicians. They're going to be targeting your everyday pedophiles. You know, like what about the pedophiles who are just like a CEO of a Fortune 500 company? Or what about like, you know, just a pedophile, a hobbyist pedophile? Yeah, they're just going to be casualties to Iran's uh, need for justice. They need to feel like they're doing something. And they know we have a pedophile class that has too much power. And I'm sorry for the innocent pedophile, the good pedophiles. You guys are just going to be fodder for this Iranian slaughter. Um, just get a new hobby, I would suggest. Um, maybe you were a disgusting person for being a pedophile in the first place, but I'm not one to judge. But kind of, sort of, yeah, it's pretty gross. You know, and it's just you know, you keep operating as a pedophile, you're just going to end up as a politician anyway because you know the sick people who actually run everything, they need someone who's compromised like yourself to control. So maybe the Iranians are just preemptively targeting even the pedophiles outside of power with their diddler bots. So just be wary. You think that's a helpless child crying for help, and it's really a robot out to destroy you. Um, they already got Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio. They kidnapped Trump. They're starting to glaze him over with porta potty water as we speak. So get up and sign up so you can fight World War III for the American pedophiles. Somebody's got to do it. Might as well be you. Send your kids off to die for them, or not. I don't know. I'm personally staying out of this one. I'm rooting for Iran on that. It's one of the things. You know, I don't comment on a lot of the videos or like the shit because I know I'm being watched. But it's pretty heartening to see the response when you like when Iran, they show like the opening salvo for their attacks and the bombs dropping, and it's nobody's like, oh my God, look, Israel, they're the victim. Everyone's like, yes, more, bomb them more. They don't, you know, and I'm you know, I'm conflicted because I know it's got to be some people out in Israel who are against the government. Because I was like, even in, you know, during 9/11, everybody in America was going crazy, there were Islamophobia everywhere. I was always against it, you know. And I would hate the idea of, you know, just because everyone's foaming at the mouth, wanting to see certain people die. You know, you bomb everybody. It's going to be you're gonna bomb some people who just don't want it, you know, who are they don't side with the government. So and I look at what's going on with Israel. I'm like, yeah, I know they got to have some victims who are against the government. I know that's got to be true. However, I have seen a lot of people posting videos like laughing at the Palestinians, making fun of them. It's like soldiers showing off like they'd kill a bunch of kids, then they'll take photos with their bikes, they kill women and take photos with their lingerie and shit. So I don't know. I was like, how the Zionists they brag about keeping databases of people who speak up for Palestine. I just have to believe that Iranians like they're keeping the database of these creeps who are laughing about Palestinians who are celebrating the death and destruction of at the innocent, like laughing at the schoolgirls who got killed. I don't know. They got to have a database of those people, and maybe that's who they're bombing first, or not. But I gotta tell myself that when I see all the bombs dropping, because I know Israel they gotta suffer a little bit because the motherfuckers was crazy. And it's been just wild. Um, uh, uh, Watching the depravity of Israel, and it was a few years ago, as a matter of fact, when Norman Finkelstein he compared modern day Israel with 1950s America in terms of racism and just like the stuff that people could say and do and act like it's normal. um, and I definitely see that in the videos people choose to post. It's not like someone gets caught on a candid camera. They don't realize they're being filmed. They'll film themselves doing some atrocious shit and then upload it because they think it's the right move. Yeah, nah, that is pretty disgusting. But and for all the shit, like it's a lot of people who moved to America. We're supposed to listen to them. I went to a rally opposing what Trump is doing out in Iran. Little did I know, like it was another protest in support of it, asking for more bombs, and it was these people who were saying that they were Iranian. They were from Iran. We're supposed to listen to them. Supposed to start World War III with them because people who say they're from Iran, who moved out here, are asking us to bomb people who are still over there. And like one of the oldest civilizations to not be toppled by the Europeans. Back when Europe uh, rediscovered Africa, um, the uh, uh, the Persians had gotten there before. So before Alexander the Great got to what became Egypt, um, you had Darius the Great, right? And that was from Persia. That's uh, um, the lineage of uh, uh, Iran, right? That's a part of their history, and you know, like it or love it. Like a lot of people, they say the Palestinians, they aren't the OGs, the first ones there, and that's right. But the people who were there before were not white. um, and it was like they were there building civilization alongside the original inhabitants, much longer than white people have existed. And they also don't have a Rothschild bank, centralized banking system. So one of the things you'll notice, all of these societies that our country is obsessed with bombing, they're all much much older than all European countries, and we bomb all of these ancient buildings that show a history that goes back further than anything in Europe. Because on top of wanting to impose hegemony, it's a destruction of history. It's like what the Romans did with I think it was Carthage. They burnt the whole city down and moved it like 2 miles down like north or west or whatever, away from the water, because they want to take the people away from their history. It's like, nope, you guys, this beautiful city, you didn't do it. We're just gonna burn this whole shit down, start again. We're not going to give you the supplies you need to build that beautiful structures that you had in this other thing. We're gonna turn rebuild it as a ghetto, and then we can call you primitive because you can't have anything nicer than us. And that's Western culture in a nutshell. That's why it was never beneficial for anyone to side with the West, but a lot of people did it because they have internal politics and hatred towards people who look the same, not realizing that these Europeans, yeah, they'll talk that talk, they'll sweet talk you like a motherfucker, but their whole goal is to fuck you over, and they'll lie, they'll do anything to get you going against your own best interest. Take it from me, I was raised in one of their countries. It is, yeah, it's just like I could talk to like seemingly unretarded people, and they can just come up with a million different ways to go against their own best interests, and it's usually just like some um, undiagnosed hatred towards someone else. You know, that is really just like them uh, um, projecting what's inside of them onto someone else, and they hate this person for something they really hate in themselves. And you know, the reason like we can't have like stuff like healthcare for all. One of the things I kept hearing, especially in 2016, like it's like when it started becoming like just a everyday. Bernie Sanders was making it like a discussion that America was having. Uh, People were like, yeah, Denmark and all these European countries, they have a homogenous population. Everyone's the same. Obviously, they could have healthcare for all. So the fact that we don't have a homogenous population, we got different colors and stuff. We can't have healthcare for all because you don't want to support people who don't look like you. You don't want, like, you'd rather give it all to a corporation that hates you, that will see to it that you die before getting the healthcare you need. Um, and you know that they wouldn't put it in those words, but that's exactly how they feel. And yeah, that's how we get fucked over. But like I said, the fact that so many people are like they're on the side of Iran, and I feel like there's definitely going to be some kind of a false flag. I'm just expecting. I'm like looking around the corner, like when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? But I definitely feel a false flag in the air. They're gonna blame Iran, trying to get us to like rally the troops and get people on board with this shit. But when the false flag happens, keep this in mind. Just be like, what about Epstein? Has anyone faced charges? Because we're gonna have a bunch of people who are on Epstein's list try to recruit a bunch of kids into a new war, right? And when they recruit those kids, you need to remember the U.S. military is one of the biggest sex trafficking operations in the world. There's multiple books written on it. I knew someone, author of one of the books. It was like 40+% of the women in the military on our side are sexually assaulted by other military members, and they get protected. You don't hear about any of this shit. And that's not to say anything of the war-torn areas that our soldiers go to. You know, the stuff they do when they're just like slaughtering civilians in mass numbers. I'm pretty sure they're raping some of the women too. I mean, at least that's what the evidence is pointing to. So when you got like Epstein clients pushing for more war, they're just trying to get more bodies into the military so they can rape more people. These are just facts. Let's just like use deductive reasoning. I don't care what the false flag looks like, how it presents. Till we deal with the Epstein class, we're just going to be getting fucked some way, shape, or form. Um, and we really have to be aware of that. Keep your head on the swivel. That's why I probably check the news when I get off of here and see the false flag hit already. But yeah, yeah. I need you guys to know we need to be in unison when Trump or whatever pedophile tries to send us off to a war. Just be like, no, you go to jail first. We'll decide what wars we want to go to. We don't want blackmailed pedophiles telling us what we're doing. Your judgment is compromised. Uno momento. And we're back. Do. Yeah, but uh, um, I do have a lot of confidence. You know, this is not the same as after 9/11. Nowadays, more people they're questioning everything that they were told on 9/11. You know, like the one of the people we're supposed to be proxies of, or are we're told is our greatest ally, Israel. A growing number of people think that they were involved with 9/11, on top of working with our intelligence agencies like the CIA. And I'm here to celebrate it. As a conspiracy connoisseur, I see the validity in questioning that relationship. I would also question the MI6 because that's our daddy, um, Britain, and that's we're family. Like they may have us in the driver's seat, but we're like the Uber driver. They chose the destination. We just go along for the ride. We pay for the gas. We pay for all of the weapons of destruction while they get health care. And we do not. We like that's too far fetched. Motherfuckers say that shit with a straight face. That's one of the like I wish I could take this year's budget, the trillions of the dollars that we're supposed to be spending on all of these militaries, the foreign wars, the supporting Israel. I wish I could take the past 5 years budget back to 2016, to all of the people who were when we talk about healthcare for all, they were like, but where are we going to get the money for it? How are we going to afford this healthcare? What like who's got? Even though the healthcare system, getting rid of the middlemen, these corporations whose number one incentive is profit. You get rid of them, the health costs will go down. and you would actually get care instead of just coverage. Because if you have health care and you got a $10,000 deductible to get whatever service you need, then you don't really have coverage. You got like something you could say I pay into monthly, but like when you get sick, you don't have anything. Like first thing, you know you got health care when you go into the hospital and you like my arm is broken, and they just take you to a room to examine what's wrong and help you out or give you whatever medication you might need, right? And they're not asking you to fill out paperwork. They're not saying what insurance do you have. They don't have questions like that. It's just like you're covered. Come on, let's get you in there. And this is like the most asinine system if you actually need help that anyone can have. And that's like both my parents. They worked for military bases. They had the good coverage that they were supposed to give to our serving population, the people who are looking out for protecting our freedom. But yeah, once they needed help, they were denied uh, the necessary tests until like they had their cancer had metastasized. And by the time they discovered it, it was like, oh, well, it's not what we could do. If we did the test earlier, we probably could have did some, but it's too expensive. What's the point? Nate, you okay, brother? I'm hanging in there. I'm a little tore up. I just, before getting on, I watched the Netanyahu video of him being waterboarded with porta potty water. It's like a thick fecal sludge they kept running over his mouth, and he ended up dying, not from the sludge, because it was they blended it so it wasn't any solid matter for him to choke on, but he had a nut allergy, and they didn't have an EpiPen, and he ended up drowning in urine, like a urine fecal sludge. And by the time they found his body, he was literally rotting in piss. So it's R.I.P. Netanyahu. He's no longer with us, and Palestine mourns for his loss, because he was supposed to be in the brought into the Hague. That's why I was hoping he would, but Hamas got him first and tortured him to death. I see a lot of tears. And hi there, Thunder BH. Oh, and it was I had issues streaming yesterday on Twitch, but someone was there asking if I wanted some graphics, some stuff for my page, and if the offer is still extended, I would love to take you up on it. And I don't think that was you, Thunder. I think their name was Sarah something or other. But yeah, if you see this at some point, yeah, I would welcome whatever help I can get. Nate out here looking like a Renaissance fair Black Panther. Is that what it is? I like to view it as steampunk revolutionary, or what you call it, sophisticated savagery. Either way, I mean, it's just Black Panther. That's the vibe I'm definitely want to go for. Lord knows they're revolutionary enough. A lot of my heroes were Panthers. Blessed to meet a few, get to know a few. Looking forward to checking out Black Panther housing. I got to meet Elaine Brown when she was still talking about bringing it because it opened up last year. Got to meet her back in 2023 before it opened, and she ended up getting like $80 million from being assaulted by government officials, and she took that $80 million. And instead of like just patting her pockets and just saying, I got $80 million more money than I can spend, um, she started Black Panther Housing, which is housing for the least of the people who is harder to find housing, like chronically homeless people getting out of prison. And yeah, so it's just like, you think of someone like that, like is Shama Sawant, another hero. She's running for Congress against Adam Smith. She gave all of the money over the median income that she was making from city council. She donated it all to charity, right? And that's what we need. People who don't need, people who just like, they're not greedy. They get extra. They give it back. They help the community. They serve. Right? We don't need pedophiles. We don't need a bunch of just creeps who need that power over people so they could do despicable shit. Because I mean, when we have that, we get what we got out right now in this country. And that's why we're so sick. That's why we got so much mental illness, so much suicide, so much mass shootings. Whatever other signs of despair we can think of. Hello, Sergeant. How are you doing? Well, I'm maintaining. I'm here to bring the pain hardcore to your brain. My German friend out me on your videos like 15 years ago, and hers were in the States with me now. We can't believe we are watching you on a live stream. Well, I mean, 15 years, what a long ride that's been. So that's, yeah, because this year will be 20 years since I posted my first video, which is wild. Because my first videos were just like I was posting just to post on my MySpace. YouTube was an afterthought. I saw someone else who had like a video on their MySpace, and I was like, "How do you do that?" And it was like a YouTube thing, and I was like, "Oh, so you can uh, uh, upload your own content." I was like, "Great." So my first video was an intro to my MySpace page, which is wild. And then, I was doing stuff like that, like happy birthday videos. And then um, this shit started getting real when I did like a response video to something I'd seen on TV. This emo chick who's complaining, just dumb as fuck, complaining about the most petty shit, crying about it while she was in a mansion. And I just made a video just mocking her. And yeah, and then that got picked up. That was the first viral video, as it were. I got invited to LA. Was on the set of Hancock. Um, Man, and that opened like the door for a lot of other stuff. But then, you know, uh, uh, shit really popped off when Nate's vlog started. Because my first channel, a lot of people don't realize, because most people met me through my picks. I mean, through my Nate's vlogs channel. But my first channel was my picks, and it was like more so sketches and skits and shit like that. And then I started Nate's vlogs channel, like as a like me talking like I talk now, like me being myself, as opposed to talking in character and doing just silliness. And then started posting on there. I posted like a movie review, and that was what got me my first TV show. Um, I was like doing Rotten Tomatoes TV, and yeah, this was before rewinds and any of that shit. Rewinds started in 2012. Uh, my pick or the Nate's vlog started in like 2007. Um, but yeah, small world, or 2007. Yeah, something around there. It was like after. Nah, okay. I started getting paid in 2008. Yeah, but I started the channel 2007 as a side piece because it was just like, yeah. And then once that shit started blowing up, I just sidelined my picks and all that other stuff. And yeah, and plus my picks was like it was a difficult uh, channel because it was like people were like what's your channel name, and I had to say it because it was how I ended up getting it. When I started the thing to post on YouTube, I had another website where my name was my picks for my pictures because I had like a website where I was like posting my pictures. And then I was like, okay, I started this, and the suggestion was my picks, and I was like, I just went with it. I didn't think the channel would blow up or whatever. But like when I would tell people my channel name, they're like, "What is that?" And I had to repeat it multiple times, spell it out, and even after spelling it out, they still had trouble. But yeah. So Nate's vlogs, once I started like really taking off, I thought I was just set until what happened happened. I missed this videos. Glad you're doing well. Me too. Wagwan. Indubitably. Be well, man. Take care of yourself. Don't get caught up in the crazy political climate or get caught up and change it. I'm like, it's a few people I like to get caught in the elevator with, especially if they don't have security. That'll be a fun video. I feel like I could go viral, or go on the run from the law. Maybe I don't know, but something needs to be done. Party on, Nate. Going back to work. Well, I appreciate you stopping in. I know it's like early. I want to tap in before it gets too late because I've been doing a lot of late lives, and I know the sweet spot is like 5 o'clock. Uh, but I was um, just trying to see. I haven't done anything too early in a while, and just testing some waters. And plus, I got the news that Netanyahu died, and I want to like mourn with you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of sadness, and yeah, we got to grieve together, get through this, and let's hope that no other politicians are drowned in human fecal matter. Iran is already saying Donald Trump is next, and we got to protect him. We got to protect the Marco Rubios of the world. We got to protect JD Vance's. We got to protect Ted Cruz's, because they're saying they're going to be waterboarding all of the Epstein list. Everybody who's connected to the notorious pedophile or any other pedophile list, they're coming for him. So what are we going to do? Viva la revolución, Nadi. Yeah, we got to keep on pushing. And it's just, I mean, it does my heart good to see so many people just not not confused by the bullshit that our government is saying. I see way more people celebrating what Iran is doing than people like ruin Iran and just like saying they should suffer. You know, uh, um, and that makes me feel good. And once again, I don't I don't celebrate any government. It's just like I'm sure there's like some despicable people in the Iranian government. I am sure of it. So just like in North Korea and in China and in Russia. But I'm also sure none of them can compare to the evil in my government. Because I don't see any of their government officials involved with Epstein files. These are facts, right? I don't see any of them. As far as I know, they're not like pedophiles who are, acting without any accountability whatsoever. Um, that's why it's just like anytime I hear someone saying, speaking on the morality of another country and their leaders and all this stuff, I'm just like, do you know where you live? You're saying that in America to me. What I have an American government, right, that steals from me and holds me captive every day, and you expect me to like want to focus on somebody over in another country across the world? Like, are you delusional? No, thank you. Like, if we're going to be overthrowing any dictatorial regimes, let's start domestically. Like, quit talking about sending troops over there. Are you prepared to pick up arms and fight over here? We have tyranny locally. we need to. I mean, you can think globally, but act locally. Isn't that the saying? Truth, brother, truth. Well, yeah. I mean, right now it's just like we are confronted with so much suffering, and it's crazy. I was Marco Rubio. He was talking about uh, uh, the Iranian regime. He was like, "How look at their they have so many people suffering. They're spending all this money on rockets and ICBMs, but look at the suffering they have over there." And it's like, well, okay, well, first and foremost, like, yeah, a good part of the suffering is you imposing sanctions on their people, right? That's not really helping. If you really care about the suffering of the everyday people, you wouldn't put sanctions on them. That's the first point. Second, have you been to an American city? Have you seen the suffering going on here? Like, just we got nothing good to say about what's going on in China, right? Let's take a cameraman, put one in Beijing and put one in New York City or Seattle or LA or any major city, right? And you just go to the downtown and just film it. And we'll see who has more tent homes, more fentanyl addicts, who has more gun shootings. We'll see who got more suicides. Got more just dead people in the middle of the street. Like, let's just compare apples to apples. Like, like whatever your criteria is for like a good city. Like, we can like go to Tehran. I mean, maybe that's not the best case because we're bombing them right now. But before they were being bombed, they had way better living situation than we do. Way fewer homeless people. I mean, they probably still got fewer homeless people now. They're just bombed. But yeah, it's just like we got nothing good to say about so many places, but we never show you, or the media never shows you what it looks like living there. You never get to see what it looks like living in Russia. You hear, oh, they're horrible, they're horrible. Show me the city. Show me their cities versus our cities. And they can't do that. I mean, they could probably show you some mud village in Shitistan, middle of nowhere that just got bombed, and there's people just like they putting sticks together and they're just trying to avoid being rained on. And you can see like some hovel shithole, but they don't show you like these major cities in our enemies' territory because it will put us to shame. Same with Cuba. I mean, shit. Then now they're putting the twisting the screws on Cuba, trying to get them to suffer. Um, but yeah, Cuba, like the average life expectancy is higher than in America. And the new embargoes on Cuban medicine, like they have medicine that helps with Alzheimer's that we don't got. They got cancer vaccines that many Americans need. They have treatments for stuff that we need, but now Americans can't get access to it. And those motherfuckers going to Cuba for medical treatment that they can't afford in the United States. And we put an embargo is really hurting our people. I mean, I'm sure it's hurting the Cubans too, but it's hurting us as well. Yeah, man, it's all propaganda. They try to make the West seem like it's some utopia, but the reality is a lot of these other countries are very well off when you compare. Yeah, no, it just doesn't compare. The only thing that we can definitively say we're number one at is number one at imprisoning our population. That's like raw numbers and per capita. So China, you would think at least in raw numbers they would have more prisoners than we do in America. We talk about, I don't know if you were privy to all the dumbass propaganda talking about how China, they're committing a genocide on the Uyghur Muslims, because our government cares so much about Muslims and Chinese people. All they do is they care so much about the Muslims and the Chinese people. That's why we bomb them indiscriminately. No, we hate the Muslims, we hate the Chinese people. But if you're a Muslim Chinese person, that's when we love you. You take two things we hate and encounter, and now we love you and we care so much about you. But it was like the government kept saying we have to get ready for war with China because of these Uyghur Muslims, the genocide. It's like, show me them being genocided. Show me them being genocided, being treated like they're treating the Palestinians. Show me that level of treatment. No, it's not. They're being genocided. They're taking away their culture. They're taking away their culture. That's the genocide. They're taking away from their language and their religion. So we're talking about the genocide that the America commits to this day on everybody. It's like, hey, speak English, but this is not an English country. But speak English. You should be a Christian. That's the only way to show you're civilized. Be a Christian. It's like, yeah, it's the same genocide. By their definition, we're continuing to commit genocide, and we have an issue with them taking away the culture from these Uyghur Muslims. But then, that's not even the case going by that metric. And then, they keep talking about genocide of the Uyghur Muslims. Then October 7th happens, and then we start getting into an official genocide run by the metrics of so many organizations, except for the American government. We're only people along with Israel who doesn't consider this a genocide. But everything that China did, that was bad, genocidal, horrible. And they don't talk about how China lifted 800 million people out of poverty, right? Like, you go to China, you don't have to worry about seeing people living under bridges. I mean, they got some beautiful bridges. They got so much beautiful infrastructure, but no one lives under it. People have their homes. People they got a little space of their own, no fentanyl. People like to think it was Elon Musk. He was saying biggest welfare queen in the world, by the way. He's not from America. He uses American subsidies that are supposed to support American businesses. He's not from here. He's got like almost $1 trillion taken from those subsidies. But he was talking about homelessness. He was like, you don't fix homelessness by giving people houses. They're just drug addicts. You give them a house, they're just going to be using meth, and it's just like, what are you talking about? You give them a house, I mean, even if they did use the drugs, at least they'll be inside of the house so we don't see a bunch of fentanyl addicts in the street. And the real solution, I mean, we should legalize and regulate the drugs so they're not using fentanyl. No one's saying, "Hey, give me some fentanyl." They're probably, some of those people probably thought they were taking a Molly or whatever the fuck, and they ended up getting fentanyl. Um, and just to regulate the drugs, they know what they're getting, right? And then if it's not being sold for profit, it's being like in Portugal. Um, their addiction rate went down because it's not a ruthless drug dealer. It's trying to get as much money from you as possible. Someone who's a member of the community, they want you to have the best drugs you can. You know, it's not pure poison. And if they see you keep coming up and like, man, you're using a lot of meth today, Tom. You want to talk about it? What's going on? And then you can make a connection because usually the drugs are uh, to replace that lack of connection. And you know the community aspect would help people get out of the addiction. And in China, you know, it's just they don't have those fentanyl issues like we do. They don't have people ODing in the street. Uh, uh, it's a quite a different experience. China is a good example. We say how totalitarianism it is, but they're pulling more people out of poverty now than any other country, indubitably. They're top of the technology ladder now too. I mean, they are the technology ladder. Like you look at like all of our tech sector comes from other countries, right? And this is going to be hard for some people to hear. They're non-white countries, so yeah, they call it brain drain when they come to America because we don't have we can't create the tech sector in America. The school system fucks people up. And maybe it's just the school system accompanied with the poison in our food, which shrinks our brains, makes us dumber. And then we just like we get miseducated. So by the time you graduate college, you don't know your gender. You took 8 years of gender studies, and it's just you still haven't figured it out. I was watching a doctor. She was a doctor, and she was brought before like a Senate hearing, and they were just trying to get her to just like they were like, "Can a man have a baby?" And she's like, It's all kinds of factors. It's like the question is difficult to answer, and then she, not no no just yes or no. Just go with your heart. Like, what is your heart telling you? Can a man have a baby? And she just kept like fumbling the questions. Like, you know, it's just like that's a loaded question. Can a man have a like you don't know? Like, there's so much stuff that you're leaving out, information that. I'm like, it's not a trick question. Can a man have a baby? And she's a doctor, and she couldn't answer this shit. It's like, no, no, a man cannot have a baby. A woman who calls herself a man can have a baby. You can say that. Um, but like, just like we're talking about, just biologically, like what you're born with. No, man cannot have a baby. But this doctor could not say that. And I'm like, that's where we are as a country. We're just like so lost and just being led down just a fucked up path. Um, America is a dump, indubitably. I can't believe China is imprisoning the Uyghurs. They're coming for the Uyghurs now. I thought they were doing the Uyghurs, which has a U and a Y in it. Not fully sure on how to spell. I know that's not it, but the we Uyghurs, that's a completely different class of people. I grew up with a few Uyghurs. The fuck this Uyghur wearing? Who you watching? You looking at Walking Note or Mr. Jacko? Nate's top viewer stream bow. Okay. I don't know what that is. That looks like an ad. Mashallah, brother. Mashallah. You speak hack. Hawk. HAQ. Gotta go. Good seeing you. Right back at you. Keep rocking. Brain drain is when the educated masses of a country start to leave because the living conditions are low, unsustainable, or yeah, they're being bombed. They're being intentionally deprived of necessary resources. It's like, come on over to America. Oh, Uyghurs, yeah. I didn't know there was a torture video. Yeah, it was released this morning. It was about 48 hours since the first bombing. That's when Netanyahu was intercepted by Hamas. People thought he was in Germany, but yeah, he was being waterboarded with porta potty water, mostly feces. But as I explained earlier, it was blended, so he did not choke on like a chunk of the fecal matter. Um, what ended up killing him was his nut allergy, and some of the processed feces had nuts in it, and he passed out and he drowned in porta potty water or porta potty sludge. It was mostly feces. It's hard to call it water. I mean, obviously there was water in it because the blue water, then the urine, but he was rotting in piss. That's what the RIP is all about. Rotten piss, Netanyahu. Palestine mourns for you. Or the fact that you couldn't be brought to justice. Thought we had more time with you, but yeah, they were able to get him um, to admit that the Israeli people are not from the area. They're just a bunch of European land thieves. They're still in the history of the Dogon tribe, who were not white. Yeah, it's the video, the extended video, the torture video. You can go watch it. He's just admitting to all kinds of stuff. He admitted that he wanted to bomb Turkey because they denied him a hair transplant and a penis enlargement surgery. Um, yeah, they got him to admit a lot of stuff. It's 48 hours of just he was just opening up. He was an open book. Um, it was yeah. You could go watch it Netflix, and it's already confirmed. It's not AI. They had multiple sites confirmed it's not AI. And one of the funny things, or funny sad, um, they were like at one point they were inserting popsicles into his rectum, and he was blindfolded at this point, but he was able to tell the flavor. They were like, they put one in and be like, "That's great." Put one another one, that's an orange, strawberry, so on and so forth. He knew all of the flavors. He wasn't able to see it, and it only went into his rectum. So he had talents that the world did not know about. Um, and it's just a shame we couldn't experience that side of Netanyahu. Like, just think if like we would have a completely different opinion of him if he was just like, instead of like encouraging us to kill millions of people in Iraq, he just pulled down his pants and he like guessed the popsicle flavor by sitting on the popsicle. I think I'd have a lot more respect for him. Um, but yeah, he chose the path he chose, and he drowned in feces. So just pour out a little. So I get teary when I think about it. Um, can someone who identifies as a man have a baby? Sure. Uh, a man can. Any man can have a baby. He just can't give birth to it. Um, I think she's pushing against connecting gender terms with biology. That's that is. I hate the how afraid of common sense we've become. And that's why other countries they think we're crazy. Like when you talk, uh, dating is hard because a lot of people have internalized this brainwashing. Like I tend to like find myself connecting with people who can just plainly acknowledge how crazy our society is. Right. There's a lot of people that's just like they talk in a way where it's just like everything is justified. Like it all makes sense. Like no, this is crazy. Please, like if you can't acknowledge this shit, it's just like, and it's just only people who can really do it. Uh, People from other countries, and it's like certain areas in America, it's easier to see, and you got to be a certain generation. But yeah, like when I talk to someone, she could be mad attractive, right? If she does anything to let me know that she normalizes bullshit, it's a no go. Like I don't give a shit how good someone look. If she approaches me and one of the first things she says is my pronouns are, I'm just like, that's a dude. Obviously, a natural born woman wouldn't talk about pronouns. Um, it's like you change your pronouns. I don't give a shit. Like you could like whip your panties down and like spread your pussy lips apart. I'm just like, dude is just showing off his new pussy. Okay, he got some bottom surgery. Just want to showboat. It's like I'm not buying it, sir. Um, and it's just I'm not a fan of any of that shit. It's just that's why I like talking to certain people from a generation where it's just like we didn't come up saying it, so it's like no one introduces themselves like that. One of the jobs I'm a mentor, and they were like given this protocol that we're supposed to like reach out to people with in emails, and they wanted me to like add to every email my name and hey, my pronouns are, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. This is just no. Guess my pronouns. Guess what they are. Our pronouns are thou and thine, filled with a love divine. Um, Pronouns are irrelevant. Um, yeah, I care about your verbs. What are your verbs? My verbs are unite, rebel, and overthrow. Right? It's just pronouns is a way for white people to just be like, I'm different, and it's just and it gets vexating as fuck because it's like a lot of people who change their pronouns. Like they're like if a white dude starts saying some common sense shit, right? It'll be someone who's like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of cisgendered heteronormative males telling me how to live my life. Like, dude, you're a white male too. Yeah, but I'm not cisgendered heteronormative. Okay, you made those words up so you can say you're different than that. But this motherfucker is making more sense than you, right? And you think because you're different, like you could just like put this person in check, and it's just like, stop, please stop, put an end to it, kibosh. Um, you support Iran. Uh, I support the Iranian people. I more so just I'm against the pedophiles who run my government. Anybody who goes against them is like it's an unlikely ally. I'll work with them to overthrow my pedophiles. Well, not my pedophiles, the pedophiles that claim to represent me. They got to go. Let's bring them to justice. I'll work with Hamas. I'll work with Russia, North Korea, Uzbekistan, whoever. Let's overthrow some pedophiles. Crashing out over penis enlargement is diabolical. I mean, Netanyahu, he had his priorities. And Turkey, they should have just, if they would have beefed him up a little bit, he would have never had wanted any smoke with him. I don't care what other countries think, but LOL. Honestly, all I'm saying is you don't have to say you're a woman, but if you have a uterus, you can have a baby. Well, theoretically, there's other obstacles that could get in the way of you having a baby. Uh, LOL is peanut allergy. Yeah. I mean, who'd have thought it'd be a peanut to take out? Well, it's more not just a peanut; it was fecal matter. Someone else ate the peanut. They shat the peanut out, and then while they were waterboarding Netanyahu, the peanut feces is what killed him. But I don't know. Maybe that peanut, maybe it'll get like a Nobel Peace Prize. Because yeah, or I mean, because Hamas, they said Netanyahu, he's not the last one they got. They already kidnapped Trump, and they got him strapped to the same porta potty. That's why everybody got to join, sign up for World War III, unless they want our pedophiles to drown in feces. I mean, do you want the president of the United States to drown in feces? Are you okay with Marco Rubio drowning in feces? Lindsey Graham, Ben Gavir, Elon Musk, uh, Bill Gates, all these people, like Hamas, they're going to be drowning all of these people in feces unless we do something right now. Unless you sign your kids up to go fight World War III. Help the or not, or do whatever. Hey guys, my pronouns are Israel. That's a good one. P Short, he's streaming on Facebook or another platform as well. Yeah, I'm streaming. What is that? What am I missing? I think some messages are getting filtered out. I can't see what other people are saying. Oh yeah, I am on different platforms. So it's like I'm streaming. One device is streaming to Rumble, but then I'm able to cascade into different things. So that's like Twitch and um, other stuff. What do you think of the IRA with the Irish Revolutionary Army? You know what? Let me see if I got it right here. One of the only European symbols I have is Celtic bracelet, but I got a profound respect for the Irish. That, like I said, when I say the first people that experienced colonization, European colonization, were white people. I'm talking specifically about the Irish. So, you go back to the Romans. They hated the Celtic people. They were trying to hate on them, keep them down. Then when you get into the English, because it's a lot of the empire was handed down to the British, because the Romans, Britannia was a part of the Roman Empire, and some of the British nobles, or the Roman nobles, moved to Britain. Um, they established the British system, and they fucked over the Irish people. They did all kinds of shit. They killed 1/3 of them. But then there's also been just that synchronicity with the Irish and revolutionary movements in America. So it was a member of the IRA was getting an award back in the 70s, and then she gave it to the Black Panthers and she said that everything they said about the Irish, they say about you guys. Um, and she was like, "We recognize your hard work. We recognize what you're doing, and just know, like, this is nothing new. There's solidarity between us. So I got so much respect, and like anybody who stands up against the British, that's my ally. The reason I hate all uh, uh, British colonies because they're just the most vile." And the most offensive part about it is like they do all this fucked up shit. They steal all your shit. It's like Negan from Walking Dead. Steals all your shit, uses your tools against you to keep you down, um, but then thinks they're better than you. Like these motherfuckers, they're committing incest. They're fucking their moms, sisters, cousins to maintain power, and they think they're better than you. It's like you fucking lowly commoner, as you like fuck your mother, and you impregnate your sister, and you think you're better than me. And so much of the what Israel is experiencing. They got it was a video of the IDF, a lineup of the IDF soldiers, and everyone was commenting on how inbred they look because that's a real thing. Israel inbreeding is a real problem because they are a, a, um, a colony of the British and the Brits. I don't know if you know about prima nocta and all that fucking the subjects. You don't, when you start fucking people indiscriminately, the population starts continue. Their kids have kids, not knowing that they're all related. You start getting a lot of inbreeding issues, and that's why, like the comical the cartoons I grew up with when they portrayed a British person. They showed like these chins and all this stuff. Is like the inbreeding traits of inbreeding, and they got the same issues in Israel. And Israel is going to be particularly worse because they got like a mentality no one wants to fuck with. Only person who could like think that is attractive is someone who's just as brainwashed as they are because they're like rabid, just hateful people. You watch the videos of them, like it's families coming out to block aid getting to starving Palestinians. Like these motherfuckers are just gross. Who wants to fuck you besides your cousin? And you get your cousin just as brainwashed and stupid as you are. And then they fuck you. They're like fucking their cousins and they're getting all the American welfare and they think they're better than the Palestinians because they're more violent. They're more just like, yeah, it's a mentality and it's fucking disgusting. And I fuck with the IRA for opposing it. Can you explain your outfit? Just stay revolutionary. Really, I mean, I started really getting into a lot of armor stuff. I mentioned it in other videos, but I had a play, uh, and I had no creative control. I wrote it, and then after that, I was expecting to act in it. I was expecting to do, have some say in the direction of it, or at least pick the people who are going to be in it. Um, I had no creative control. I had to, and they even made me rewrite it. It was Revolution the musical, but one of the characters was a hero, and yeah, so it was like even the wardrobe for the what they chose was just like garbage. But um, after that, I was like, I gotta direct if I gotta have creative control. But I also realized, I got into doing wardrobe for other plays and doing props and stuff like that. And I realized for me to be ready for uh, any production, I should have just my wardrobe. I started like playing with what I wanted the characters to wear, and then I just started that's my everyday gear. And plus, it comes in handy when I see ice. I got my armor, my protection, I got like well surprises, and yeah, it's good to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And but it's crazy enough. I had people in my union who were abducted by ICE, but it never happened on my shift. And maybe it's because I always just look like I'm ready to fight somebody off. So I've seen like people who like the ICE looking people. I don't know if they were with ICE or just security, but no one acts up in my presence. But I stay ready and just in cases. This is profound. Appreciate it. Do you see connections between the story of Julius Caesar and Donald Trump? Wasn't Julius Caesar stabbed in the back by the Senate uh, um, for like taking steps to help the middle class? I don't know. I mean, it's different tellings of why Julius Caesar was stabbed, but yeah, that's the most predominant one. And I'm not one to get super like bogged down with Roman history because Rome they got it from somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he was helping the people at the bottom. Donald Trump is like he lies to the people at the bottom, and maybe he had some intent. I don't think he had an intention to actually help people. I always told people never vote for him. I said Donald Trump is horrible. I would never vote for him. I just said the Democrats were worse because they pretend to be your friend. At least people know Donald Trump is the enemy. I mean, some people it's just like the people who really went all in on him, like they still have difficulty waking up, or maybe they just really agree with all of the racist bullshit and they don't see themselves in the oppressed because they can't imagine ICE turning against them or whatever Gestapo is, the soup of the day coming for them. Tiof, okay. I feel like that's a spell. If I say it out loud, I'll disappear or something. Much respect to you from an Irish Republican. Muchas gracias. Is that Gaelic? Is that what that is? I don't know. The Irish are the real Wiggers. Well, and this is because okay. Uh, I don't know if you're familiar with Boston and their history because I always had like these weird interactions with Bostonians. Um, like they are just some of the most racist Irish people, and I try to encourage people, Irish people, know your history. If you're Irish American, you weren't considered white until like the 1940s. It was like quotes. I was reading a book on English, the language, and the people, and they had all the terms they had for the Irish. They called them bog hoppers and all kinds of shit that just sounds ridiculous. But one of the things they were saying, difference between an Irishman and a nigger. At least a nigger can keep their house clean or something, shit like that. Um, but yeah, it was like all this hatred towards the Irish. But then Boston, uh, they really just like the Irish people there are super racist. Found out those are the same people that what is the black and tans, the people who were sent to oppress their own out in Ireland. They were working for the English. Um, and then some of them they went to Palestine. Some of them they got their own land in Ireland or in Boston. And that's where the police, the back in the olden days, like Bugs Bunny cartoons days, they would always portray the cops as an Irishman, because they had the people who were patrolling the Irish ones who were like keeping their own people down, the Uncle Toms. Um, yeah, they were out there, and then they just like go and rough up these Negroes, and yeah, and then that's how they got acclimated to the culture, and then they did the same thing to the Italians. It's just like, yeah, they were the enforcers for the empire, and they loved it. Um, and then each subsequent oppressed class, when we bring in like the next droves of people, like they get bumped up. So it's like, yeah, the next police force was like Italians, and they could always focus on the Negroes, because Negroes, we just never going to assimilate them. I mean, now they kind of do. You look at the military. Uh, it's overrepresented by the black community because they need blacks and brown people to go into the lands of people that look like them to colonize. Because it's like, look, we're like you. Give us your land so we can give it back to these rich pedophiles. Come out, ye black and tans. Yep. Hell yeah, man. Big drama kid back in the day. Yes. Hell yeah. Hope you never gotta show them ICE agents your surprises. Well, yeah, it's just got one time of going crazy, and then I'm either an outlaw or I'm shot. That's what you got to pick wisely when it like a lot of the uh, uh, dating options. Yeah, they try to they try to provoke. That's why I had a ex who was just constantly trying to provoke and just do dumb shit. Um, and it's just like, yeah, you definitely gotta choose smart. Um, People who don't try to do that. People who can like actually calm situations down. Because I also had uh, long time ago. I used to date hood rats, and like motherfuckers just starting fights with other people because they know I'm there and they expect me to like jump in and help them with whatever conflict they start up. Uh, um, yeah, yeah, no, 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 no. I'm not an Irish American. I'm real Irish. Oh, you're real Irish. Get out of town. What part of Ireland are you from? Because I don't see an accent. Wait, so Jews in Israel are inbreds and also are mad out of unconnected converts Jewish diaspora? In reality, most of the inbreeding is in Israel are from Bedouin tribes. Um, yeah, I'm just we're talking about it is certain traits that come along with inbreeding, right? And there might be some. I don't like to call the because it was some very insulting language. It was I think it was Balfour talking about it was Bedouins calling the people of Palestine. There may be some of that because we're talking about people who've had their elders killed, people who are just disconnected from their family. They don't know who their cousin is because they don't have like a grandparent to be like, oh, that's you guys related, first cousins. In case you didn't know, there may be some of that. I don't know, but we're talking about like what is it? The little stubby chin. It's like I'll put together a video on the should going into the stuff I'm talking about, but it is. Yeah, no. You look at the Israelis, well, yeah. I'll put together a video because it's hard to illustrate, and I don't want to offend anyone who may have the same traits. But yeah, no, inbreeding is a real issue amongst the Israeli. The IDF video is probably of a video of IDF volunteers with autism and special program to help them feel part of society. That's a weird thing. Okay, if they're, I'm not denying they don't have like a sick project like that, but if you want to make people feel a part of your society to bring them into a murderous organization like the IDF, that's sick. It sounds like the person who put that together would be special needs. But I don't think it was that. They were all in the uniform and everything. But yeah, that's you understand that's crazy, bro, right? Like we want you to feel a part of the society. You're special. You can't fight for us, but we want you to look like one of the fighters. It's like, is that how you make your people feel connected to your land? Is killing? Like you look like you kill now, even though you're not eligible. That's no, that's no. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true because Israel is a crazy society, but that's crazy and that's stupid. Can you fill us in on your sex life? Yes. Erotic. I'm from Dublin, man. I'm gonna say what race of doctor. It was a Jewish doctor. Is that easy? He said, I'm not gonna say what race of doctor. Hey Nate, what's going on? Everyone tries to cover up the Great Reset with racism. Well, yeah, cover it up with all kinds of distraction. Heading out for a meeting. Nice seeing you, Nate. It's nice being seen. I appreciate you showing up. I don't care what other countries think, LOL, but honestly, all I'm saying is you don't have to say you're a woman, but if you have a uterus, you can have. Oh, yeah, I got to that one already. But yeah. And if you're gonna talk about a uterus, I'm gonna need to see it. Pull that uterus out. Let me shake that uterus's hands. I want to give your baby a dap. Be for real. Uno momento. We'll always love Netanyahu. We'll always love you, Yahoo. Nate, you a real one. You got a Discord? Yes. Yeah, I do believe so. Don't really use it, but I have one. I think it's Netflix or something to that effect. And it's a great feeling. Having the world kind of start to catch up to what I've been saying for decades. Uh, but it's also just weird. I see a lot of videos like people like, oh, you conspiracy theorists, you guys were right. Congratulations. Like motherfuckers should be grateful. I said a lot of shit that I wish would have came true. I thought I'd be a umpteen millionaire, a large house, wife, and all that shit. That didn't happen. But I was right about us being run by pedophiles and pedophiles being blackmailed to commit war crimes. That's like the thing I didn't want to be right about. It's not a congratulations statement. It's like my condolences. You were right. I'm sorry. That's horrible that you were right. I wish I was right. I wish the people who said we weren't run by reptilian pedophiles were right. That's like a congratulations situation. Um, But now the thing is just like figuring out how to adjudicate it. We got certain people who have been on the right side of history saying the uncomfortable truths for a very long time. And then they lost every channel. The algorithm fucked them over. There's like no way for them to be heard by the masses because like they are suppressed. It's just like, what are we gonna do for those folks? When are we gonna start to see the truth start to shine? When are we gonna see the people who were taken out of the light put in the forefront again? I don't know. That would be glorious. I want to collaborate with you on reporting the war. Make it happen, Captain. Mm. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Just give me some tickets. I'll get out there. I can report from the ground in Iran. It's a place I would love to see. Um, I would love to talk with some Iranian folks. That's like one of the things I always encourage. Anytime the government tells you to hate anybody, do the exact opposite. They tell you to shut down, don't listen to them. Listen, right? Because they have something that the government doesn't want you to hear, and the government is your enemy, not those people. They may have a bad government, but our government and their government have a lot more in common than we have with our government, and we have more in common with everyday people across the world than we have with our government. You know, and for what I've seen, the Iranian people they love Americans. The people they hate our government. I mean, I saw like a bunch of them protesting "Death to America," but they were really just saying "Death to the pedophiles who run the government." And I mean, whatever they choose, whatever plot they got cooking for the government, I mean, they could include me in on it. I'll listen. Y'all. I'm willing to get rid of all my slave trader notes. Switch to some. I'll switch to BRICS bucks. That could add me personally if the rest of the country doesn't want to join. I'll be. It could be Brinks, Brazil, Russia, India, Nate, China, and South Africa. It'd be me specifically. Because you look at it. Where do we get everything from? It's not America, right? So the dollar is about to bust. It is going down. That's what this war is really just trying to hold on to the last bastion of American supremacy, which is the dollar, which is going. Like the other countries have already started trading in outside of the dollar. That's why we had to get Venezuela, like that's the world's largest oil supply, and that was also a precursor to going after Iran. Because it's like they closed up the Strait of Hormuz, and yeah, that's going to shoot the oil prices through the roof. Um, but yeah, with the control of a Venezuelan oil supply, it's like we could be like, well, we're good, but no. I like to see Donald Trump uh, going to the prison that Maduro's in. I want Maduro to be free, but I would like Maduro to be there at least one day with Donald Trump, so he could square up with him in jail. Because Trump was talking all kinds of shit, but I just want to like just see like a prison war with like we bring in all the criminals, the pedophiles from our government into that prison, and did he get in there? Did he start oiling up the floor? Donald Trump slip? Did he get the back of his cheeks? Then just Maduro starts serving them up. I feel like that would be fair. It's a better fate than Benjamin Netanyahu had when he was drowning in feces. I know some of you guys are going to be like, but Nate, I want to see Donald Trump drown in feces. Like that torture video of Benjamin Netanyahu before he died. And he was being motorboated in a fecal solution. It caused him to die. Sorry. I get choked up when I talk about it. Say it out loud. He's such a good guy. But yeah. Got a little distracted, but yeah. I'd like to go to Iran. How do I convince this Seattle girl to quit her job at the government, move to my shitty ass second world country, and have unprotected orgies in Berlin clubs or something? Talk about free healthcare. Maybe say the drugs out there don't have as much fentanyl, or say you can get more fentanyl, whatever she's looking for. I don't know. This sounds like something that you would have to figure out. I'm not. Is this a better lifestyle choice? Is this? I don't. Yes. What are your thoughts on LSD? Man, it was. I was late to the party on everything, so I didn't start smoking weed till I was in my 30s. I never thought I would do any of this stuff. I never thought I would do shrooms, LSD. But I ended up reading a book on LSD. And it was like they were talking about the purest LSD that you can get in America. It was at Fish concerts. I think it was Fish. It was one of those. Yeah, I think it was Fish. Uh, yeah, but a lot of the stuff, it's basically like controlled ergot. Ergot. It's like the mold from bread. It could fuck you up real bad. But my interest was piqued because it was also talking about like some of the stuff that I was aware of that was like bullshit. When it came to it was like a chick who I was told she took LSD. She thought she could fly, and then she just jumped off a building and died. And a big part of that was just a bunch of bullshit. She was like some rich dude's daughter, and it's other factors and all kinds of shit. But yeah, I ended up trying it for one of my birthdays. Um, and I'm pretty sure I got ripped off because it was like a sheet of paper, and then I took it, I ate the paper, and I didn't feel anything, nothing. And I was told all of this stuff that's why, and then I tried it again a little later. I was like, I didn't. It was something. It wasn't the experience I thought I was gonna have, and I smoked weed too. I was like, I don't know if it was the weed or whatever, but it's not the experience I was told I was supposed to have. But then I've also, you know, uh, 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 like certain people, uh, um, when you have a really crazy trip, it's something that you really need to comprehend. You need to wrestle with. You need to understand. So like first time I did weed, it was a a capsule. I did like a THC pill, and it was uh, um, yeah. It took a while to for it to kick in, and then when it did, it was I was convinced I was dead, and the only being that could see me was my dog. And then I was like, I was really going through it because I was like predicting what I was going to do. I was like, okay, oh my God, sums up. Okay, how do I know what the next move I'm making? I was like, in 4 seconds, I'm gonna move my arm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, how did I know that was gonna happen? Okay, in 4 seconds, I'm gonna move my arm back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I was like, what is going on? How do I know my next move? And it was like, yeah, it was crazy as fuck. But I had the revelation. I needed to be better. Uh, um, uh, just a level of treatment in the inner circle. Um, and once I had that, I never had trips like that ever again. It's just like, and I tell my brother, um, I was like, he's never tried it. He said he'd do crack before he did weed. And I was like, that's some suspicious shit to say. But I think like people like him who've never had it, they just like they've accepted a level of brainwashing. It like that trip will be crazy. But for me, I'm grateful enough. Like I've been on a path um, where it's just like I I'm I made some difficult decisions, and it's a lot of stuff I could have that I had to walk away from. But it's like when I do stuff like certain drugs, I feel euphoric. When I do a shroom, I feel euphoria. It's not me like, man, I need to change this, change that. Sometimes, I mean, different points in my life, I can say that, but I feel euphoria when I know I've done what all I can to move forward and build the world that I know we need to see. Yeah, but uh, um, yeah, and like I said, LSD. I know it's supposed to have a similar effect, but the 2 times I tried it, I don't think I got that. I don't think I got that potent stuff that I was reading about. um, I think Iranians are in love with Trump right now. Um, I mean, I've heard Trump was trying to provoke Iran because he wanted because one of the places the Iranians hit was like the Mossad building that was likely holding all the dirt on the Epstein blackmailees. Like the place that had all the dirt on Trump got bombed, and the next trove of Epstein files might not come out, or the real dirty shit that Mossad was like withholding. Like they gave us like just a little taste. No, it should be enough to prosecute, but we still got too many pedophiles in power. Can we get a room tour? Absolutely. This is the whiteboard room. That's the kitchen. You see way down there. That's the west wing. That's the pool. Pay no attention to the Yeti. Um, Remy. Now, what? Yeah, it is. Uh, uh, it's a little chaotic, but yeah, I love you guys for showing up, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I do got to start making my way to get some more stuff done, and I got my microphone, so it's like something I was working on that I can now finish up, um, and I'm going to be doing that. And you can go check out nateflix.net for new employee evaluations and rewinds. And yeah, and just, let's have a moment of silence for Benjamin Netanyahu. When you start to get a little sad, so it's a crazy world out there. I know things are getting hard for everyone, but when you start to feel weak, just think of that video of Netanyahu being tortured, just drowning in feces. He's drowning in fecal matter, pleading for his life. They made him acknowledge that he is not native to that land, that he is an imposter. He is stealing the history of the Dogon tribe. And then they force fed him shit, drowned in it. They watched it. Just think of him suffering. Your life may get bad, but at least, I mean, you're drowning in shit, but it's more metaphorical. He was literally drowning in shit, which is different. Keep spreading the truth, bro. Al Salamu Alaikum from Scotland. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Or I don't know if that's Gaelic or I don't know. But yeah, got up goys in the chat for BB. I wish you all the success in your conquest. Yeah, a man is on a mission. Well, yeah, that's the I don't know if you're quoting the Revolution the musical, but I'm in rarefied air. You try to walk a mile in my shoes, you be terrified, scared. Found the audience that care when I shared. Then Google shut me down. Now the net's full of verified squares. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best. When I find somebody better, that's the day I take a rest. Until that day is pressure and it's building on my chest. That's the game's oppressors that's coming from my neck. The pressure make diamonds. That's why I'm always shining. I need change. That's why I'm always grinding. The new sea change is always on my mind. Until then, I'm a man on assignment. I'm a man on a mission. Got heart, got soul, got vision. When tyrants on the rise, I stand in opposition because I'm a man on a mission. Yeah. But yeah. So you already know Revolution the Musical if you're quoting the man on a mission. So I appreciate that. Everybody else, y'all can go check it out on nateflix.net. I'm be adding some more content. It's already over a dozen tracks on there, and it just keeps getting bigger. And yeah, it's gonna be once that project's done, it's gonna be historic rhymes, more so the same stuff. It's all everything's got a story. It's always building on something, empowering shit you can revolution to. So go check it out. Don't forget to be good to each other. Peace.